What's up, everybody? Mike Araiza here for the Hellion Rocks, and we're here with Daniel Oliver today in Albuquerque, New Mexico at the Sunshine Theater. Daniel Oliver is from the hot new band Nothing More. They're here tonight supporting their new album, self-titled, but just like any other band, there's a long story that we're going to briefly talk about their humble beginnings in 2003 from San Antonio, Texas. First of all, what do you think of Albuquerque so far? Have you been able to check anything out?
Yeah, I love Albuquerque. It's always a pleasure coming to the Southwest. You know, the weather's always great. The people here are super nice, and it's always, I try to run as much as I can before the shows, and it's always cool to have a bit of a mountain range in the background. So I totally dig it.
Awesome. And you guys are all originally from San Antonio, right?
Drummer's from New Orleans, actually. So,
makes sense when I heard him talk.
Yeah, he was the last member to join. He's been with us for about 3 years now. Because Johnny used to be our drummer, from the beginning, and then once we decided Johnny was going to be the singer, we started just kind of hiring out drummers to tour with us, and Paul was the first actual brother that we found that actually filled Johnny's shoes, and we brought him in.
So Nothing More, if you guys haven't heard of Nothing More, you've been living under a heavy metal cave. Honestly, these guys have the #1 rock song and the #2 on the Billboard, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
And that's in these days, that's quite a task for for a band from San Antonio. Now it was the Ballast, right? And now tell me, when you guys were tracking it, did you know that it was the one?
No, honestly, man, when we recorded this whole album, we were still independent. We hadn't signed with 11-7 yet, and really, when we were done with it, we didn't expect to go to radio. And even after the deal started working with 11-7, the initial idea from management and the label was to not go to radio. We thought we'd build it more underground, just touring, and then I think someone started sniffing around with radio, and with that song too, which we never expected to be a radio song by any stretch of the imagination. And it got all these great reviews, and they went. And it went all the way to 1. So the whole process was just kind of surreal and crazy.
Right, and then you had that killer video. To follow. Was that what? I know you guys did the Price copyright video. Was that self-made?
The Price copyright video was a good friend of ours out of Austin made it for us, and it was basically just a simple live video. And this guy was a phenomenal editor. We played a big show in Houston where he filmed the show, and then spliced it with a bunch of stock images that we found. And
yeah, that's a lot of work. I mean, so he did a great job that video. I mean, it was very well done. So you go from there, you go to a real set. Was it one of those things where it took all day? Were you guys in and out in a couple hours?
No, it was a 3-day shoot, and a very painful one at that. I think it was January of last year in LA, and we're wet the whole time. We're having to perform wet, just performing wet. The instrument doesn't feel the same, nothing's the same. And the studio's at 60 degrees and the water's cold, and we did that for 10 hours. Then Johnny had another day on a beach. It was just him, and we watched. He was cold all day. And then we had to do some underwater pool shots, all of us. Most of them didn't make it into the video, but that was another very, very cold day. But it was fun,
Right, so this album, so Nothing More is a band that's been around since 2003, right?
Yes. Maybe even 2002. It started, Mark and Johnny, the guitar player and singer, are the only two very original members, but they started it back when they were in high school. They'd go to each other's houses and spend the night on weekends for band practice. And then I joined a couple years later when I lived with Mark, and we were both in college, and I loved all the stuff they were writing, and their bass player was kind of flaky, so I joined. And 2005 is when we really put our nose to the grindstone and quit school, quit our jobs, and just started teaching music and little side things like that, and started regionally touring.
Everything to stay alive out there, huh?
Yeah, whatever it takes. We never really made money off the music, but it was always enough to keep the business going, if you will, to keep gas in the van, and to keep us fed out there, and to be able to have money to buy strings and make the next record and things like that.
So you guys, that's why it's important. Here's the album right here. The mainstream debut album from Nothing More here. own your music, guys. We bought this. Get out, pick it up, get a real copy, spend some real money so these guys can keep it going. So let's talk about this album.
Nice.
Now I had the first one that I got when you guys opened up for Seven Dust, which is, as we were talking before we went rolling, I went to the Seven Dust concert and the buzz was in the air about this band Nothing More. It was get there early because these guys are awesome. And from the first time you guys hit the stage, you guys just had something where it just looked like, you know, you can't put on being cool on stage. You really can't. And you can't put on being great. And you guys have this very percussive influence and very hyper dynamic, you know, driven by the bass. And I noticed you guys were really busy with your feet. You know, you had some pedals going on, and you had this killer bass solo where you guys, you know, I don't want to ruin the whole show, but you get the point. So is that something that, was that by accident? Was that like you guys at rehearsal sometime? How did that whole formulate? Because your live show, and quite honestly, is one of the best live shows I've seen in a long time. And we go to a lot of shows.
Yeah, well, thanks. Really, that was kind of this mindset that we took on way back in 2005 when we kind of dedicated ourselves to music and dedicated ourselves to pursuing it with everything we have. Was that like we weren't just entering the music industry, but also the entertainment industry, and we're all we're all players to some degree and enjoy playing as many notes as we can as fast as we can, which doesn't always work into good songwriting sometimes. So we kind of, I don't know, we just use that same creativity maybe for musical things that wouldn't fit in a song and just kind of invented ways to make it into a show, you know, like Johnny was on drumline in high school for a year, so he had a lot of ideas how to do like a multi-person percussion solo, and the bass solo idea, the one we're doing now, is probably the third generation of that, but the first one, you know, started with Mark and I way back then, had this awful job loading UPS jets from like 3 to 7 a.m. And I remember we were both standing or kind of crouched in the belly of a jet waiting for some packages to come up, and you know, one of us was like, hey man, wouldn't it be cool if I came behind you and played the low notes on your bass while you go up high and do like a funk solo thing? And you know, so we wrote something around it, and it was pretty neat. And then we took it to band practice, and Johnny, while he was still drumming, was like, let me throw some sticks on there and see what that does. And we had a climax, and that's kind of where that began, and then it evolved over the years into the big, you know, very industrial looking machinery you see on stage that's now the show. So.
Which is very cool, and when I saw it, I was like, you know, one of these guys has to be a welder, work with metals, and so you're the mechanic. What about the other guys? I mean, did you guys all, what took it to that next level to, you know, and then not only that, to make them small and efficient to go on the road? I mean, was that a collaborative effort?
I mean, I took over, you know, when we had the old bass solo, just a simple idea led me to the idea of the stand we have now, and from there I knew that to build it I would have to build it out of metal. And I had a good friend, Brian Bentley, who I still live with now, that is a mechanical engineer, and you know, he kind of advised me through the process. But it was really just, I got into welding to build what you see now, and I got really into it and really obsessed with it for a couple of years. But it's been an invaluable experience. Like, I still love doing it today. I have another good friend of mine, Taylor, that helped me from the beginning too, whenever he could, and he's actually on the tour with us now, helping me build the next evolution of the live show, because we're just touring so much now that when I'm home, I don't want to be in the garage for 16 hours a day, killing myself for a deadline. So.
Have you had any of it break out on the road?
A little bit, like some small things here and there. The bass stand, that's the big dangerous one. Fortunately, luck's been on our side, and the only time it broke was after it had flipped all the way, did it 720, locked upside down, and we all went to play it, and it just sheared off right then and fell, and I caught it. And we finished the solo very sloppily. Yeah. But that's been it. Knock on wood, it's been pretty sturdy for the most part, at least in any major structural ways.
Now, most of you guys, if you're a Five Finger Death Punch fan or a Hellion fan or bands of that nature, if you went late, well, you missed these guys. Big mistake. Sorry. Yeah. Next time, right? So let's talk about that. You guys next thing you know, I mean, once again, when I saw you, you guys were opening for Seven Dust, one of the heaviest bands, coolest bands out there. Then you guys continue to move on. You pick up this Hellion Five Finger Death Punch tour. I mean, when you guys got that show, I mean, was it a long time coming like most things, or was it just like you got a call and an email and you're ready to roll? How did that conspire?
Well, like everything really started coming together for us like this last March was when we really started touring. And you know, we're the first of 4 on tours, and then you know, we had an awesome opportunity with Chevelle being main support for some, and then first of 3, and I don't know, everything has since like we got signed, and everything's just been snowballing super quick, you know. And we have a phenomenal management team. With that came this amazing booking agent, Nick Storch, who's working with us now. And I don't know, you know, we got the call I think in April, and the tour started September. Maybe it was May when we got it, but yeah, it was one of those like, what, like, you know, we're still just like plunking around. Sometimes playing for 75 people, sometimes doing festivals, sometimes it's a couple hundred people, but then getting a call for an arena tour, you know, just a few months away. It's just like, holy damn, this is awesome.
What was your, I'm sure you had lots of memorable moments, but for you individually, throughout that whole tour, what was that one thing that will always stick with you? Do you have that one moment?
Yeah, I think it was the first show we did in Salt Lake City, where we went from, you know, we always do a vocal warm-up together and kind of, you know, get loose and jump around, but then we go from the backstage, which they're all hockey arenas, so we're like in the bowels of these huge buildings.
Cold?
Very cold, yeah. You know, we all get together, walk down a long hallway, and then it was coming out into, you know, backstage, into seeing an arena, you know, like our backdrop, like all these people, and you know, there's smoke and the lights are already there, and it's just like, wow, this is something else. Yeah,
this is what all the hard work was for, right?
Yeah, totally.
And it's not going to stop there, right?
No, I mean, hopefully not.
No, it won't. It won't, because everybody's going to go out and buy the new album here from Nothing More, self-titled album. Really, from start to finish, guys, this album is just phenomenal. For me, this album, not to like paint it into a corner, you know, I'm a little bit older, you know, I'm 3 years old, and but growing up, you know, there was a time where people would buy an album and you would start one side of it, you'd listen to it, you'd flip it over, and you'd listen to the other side of it. When I got this album, I had to drive home back to Albuquerque, and so my wife and I, we truly did listen to it from start to finish. And I couldn't wait to put it like on my iPhone so I could listen to it, you know, while I was running and stuff like that. It really is an album from start to finish. Congratulations, guys. I mean, I noticed that there were some co-writes here, some producers. Are you guys going to do that on the next time? Do you have plans on a new album? Have you already started?
We've started a little bit. We've just been touring so much that we haven't like really sat down to start knocking out like what we think is going to be the next record. But yeah, I mean, we love working with other people. You know, like it's just invaluable for us to be able to bounce ideas off of someone else and have them, you know, tell us their just unbiased opinion. Perspective, exactly. And it's something we encourage every band to do. You know, we have one of our managers, Will Hoffman, is kind of like a fifth member of the band, and he co-produced and co-mixed, and yeah, you know, we wrote with him a little bit, or he was kind of more on like the pre-production and things like that. And I don't know, it helps you get your ideas together to work with somebody else that's not in the band, you know. So and also like one thing we always like to do is kind of, it's just invaluable to also get into that person's mindset and take it and apply it to everything you do. You know, you don't just work with someone for an immediate product, you work with them to better understand your craft and what you're doing.
Right. I mean, I guess one of the best analogies is if you have, you know, two guys hanging a picture, they're not going to have the right perspective to make sure it's straight.
Right. Exactly.
So what you do is you have your wife down there and tell you how many ways it's wrong. Right?
Yeah.
Or your girlfriend.
Exactly.
Well, right on. So we've been talking with Nothing More here, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Sunshine Theater. These guys are hot, and they're not going anywhere. You got to go catch them live. So you guys are going to be touring for the what? So now we're in January. I mean, things are just barely starting to go up. You guys have festivals planned already for the summer, and something you can talk about now, or?
Yeah, we don't know exactly what we're doing for the festival season this year. We hit pretty much all of them last year, so some of them we're kind of giving a break. Straight from this tour, though, we go to Japan for an arena show, which is crazy because we've never been there. And then from there, we fly to Australia for Soundwave, which is
that's awesome.
Yeah, we've heard that. We've heard that's one of the most amazing experiences a band can have. And straight from that, we meet up with Hailstorm in Europe for a month-long Europe-UK tour. So we're nose to the grindstone until I think April 3rd is the next time we see our homes back in San Antonio.
Well, I mean, you guys keep going that way. I mean, I would expect that you guys should be headlining soon. A couple of small tours, right?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we'll be. We're planning planning a headliner now in May, I believe. So, a U.S. headliner.
U.S. You guys gonna come back to Albuquerque?
I'm sure, yeah. I mean, unless they hate us tonight, then if I get a tomato to my face, y'all are written off. I'm sorry. No, we love it here, though.
You got anything you want to interject? Yeah.
Oh, thanks. All right, we're stoked to be on this tour. This has been the best one yet, for sure. So, having a blast.
All right.
So, we're here. Daniel from Nothing More, Mike Araiza. It's the Hellion from the Hellion Rocks. We continue to bring you music that you might not hear because radio's afraid to play it. We're not. We're going to bring shit to you all the time. You might not catch Nothing More on the radio, but you're going to catch them here on the Hellion Rocks. Going out to 170 countries now. That's what I got to say.
Wow. And thank you all for all the support. Seriously, it takes gentlemen like you going out and making something for the rock world, so we appreciate it.
Thank you guys for giving us your time. We really appreciate it. We're gonna over 170 countries tune in right now on YouTube, of course. Stage is all yours. Anything you would like to say to your friends, family, Albuquerque, San Antonio? Oh, real quick, Texans or Cowboys?
Cowboys, but only because I grew up that way. I'm really kind of indifferent towards sports. So
Mavericks or Spurs?
Oh, Spurs all the way. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Cool, man. All right. Yeah. So anyway, the stage is all yours. Anything you'd like to say as a parting note?
Yeah, I mean, just thank you everybody for your unending support for us from the beginning. Or if you're a new fan, we couldn't do it without you, and we enjoy every experience we get with you. So thank you.
All right. And how do people keep in touch with you guys? You guys got what? Twitter, Facebook, all that?
Yeah, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Just Google Nothing More, and you'll see everything. You can even email us. They're out there too. So.
Awesome. I'm Mike Araiza for the Hellion Rocks. Nothing More here is going to tear it up on the Sunshine stage. You're going to leave nothing left for the headliners because these guys will be headlining soon. We'll see you.
See ya.
Thanks for
your time. Man. Thank you guys. Awesome interview.
Thanks.
Yeah.